Larry Birch, and this poem is a tribute to my mother, my father, my family, to Liberia, West Africa, a land founded for free American slaves. My mother wasn't the indigenous. My mother was the product of her ancestors that sat on the ship to freedom, the ship that America created when they realized the human beings that they stole needed to be returned back to their home, the human beings that they dragged, that they chained, whipped canyons into their skin till they bled America, the beings that they slit their throats, broke down their native names till it fit the American vernacular, the beings that they broke down because they couldn't look up and see their humanity, the beings that they only made love to behind closed doors. My mother was the product of her ancestors that sat on that ship to freedom, that ship that sailed to Liberia, West Africa. I guess they were terrified of the melanin in their skin, the sway in their hips, the away in the waters, the spirituals in their voice, the strength in their shoulders that allowed them to do what Master told them to do. Because if the cotton wasn't picked to Master's perfection, and if Master wasn't happy, and if Master wasn't happy, and if Master wasn't happy, the sun wouldn't shine on that plantation that day. My mother was the product of her ancestors that sat on the ship to freedom, the ship that America created when they realized the human beings that they stole needed to be returned back to their home, so they sent them back to a land called Liberia, a land of liberty. All hail Liberia, hail. This glorious land of liberty shall long be ours. These songs of freedom rattled in the ears of its people, tunes as pretty Picasso's, bright yellows and blues, tunes that shook their ribcage, that rattled their hearts, that made their blood flow backwards, tunes that made their belly swell with butterflies that only fluttered from out of their souls. It was a love affair, freedom and its people. Trumpets sounded as they made love, bells rang as their bodies connected, a sewing kit intertwining their souls. It was a love affair. My mother was the product of her ancestors that stood on this land of freedom. My mother was the product of her ancestors that didn't need to listen to what Master had to say anymore. My mother was free. All hail Liberia.